Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Alaia Leighland, and this is an episode of the Enchanted Life Salon brought to you on Look Who's Talking Vision. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of something, and let's contemplate the enchantment that is our life. Hi, everybody. This is Alaia. And yes, we do have enchanted lives. My cup of something this morning is coconut water, Thai coconut water. I love that stuff. They claim you can do blood transfusions with it. I'm not so sure about that, but or plasma transfusions, I think it is. But whatever, I love this stuff. Susan Harmon is with me here this morning, and we're going to contemplate the dichotomy that is showing up in our world, and I guess for a lot of us showing up on the internet. But if you turn on the TV or the radio, it's showing up there as well. And even if you just walk around in your own life and pay attention to what's going on, you'll see it there as well. And it's, there was a conversation that went on before 12/21/2012, the Mayan calendar thing. There was a conversation that went on right before that, we were going into the rapture maybe, or we're going into end times, or we're going into whatever. And since then, there has been notably things that are different. I noticed for myself right after that that there seemed to be more what I call magic. You think about something and it happens. You have a desire for something and it shows up. And on the same vein, if something not so nice, that showed up too. But it was like there was a faster turnaround time between what you thought about and what happened. And I'm wondering for you, Susan, did you notice that as well?
Actually, I have, and as I've been sitting here sipping my water with lime in my cup,
yum.
I've given it, much more thought and feeling. I think people are feeling things more profoundly in the last few months than they were before, thinking it less and feeling it more. And I think that may be a starting point for people to understand how this shift is working.
Right. It's kind of interesting. There's a guy that's on my Facebook feed that I absolutely adore, and I've been trying to get on the show for 3 years, and I've never been able to get him on because I think he's kind of shy. He's got a lot to say, but he's shy. And he wrote a note this morning that I kind of bolsters up what you were just saying and the dichotomy, and I'm going to read it because it's only a paragraph. He says he was with two Canadians who were in Hawaiian waters for the first time and who he had never met prior to helping them enter the water off the rocks. We had a humpback whale surface and spout less than 20 yards from where we were floating. I dove down repeatedly and never saw it again. I must admit I was disappointed. There wasn't more to the experience. Darn it, so close, and I didn't get a chance to look in the whale's eye. Then I looked over at my two new friends, a mother and a daughter of about 30 and 50, and they were holding each other and crying tears of elation. They saw a whale 15 meters away, a thrill of their lives they'll never forget. Thank you 10 times as we floated back, and I wanted more in the moment. I'm grateful for the unfoldment of this experience, for sharing and being a part of their pure, heartfelt joy, for sharing their joy and seeing how foolish and selfish my own reaction was. And someone was there to expose and correct my misperceptions, and for their serenity and calm radiation from my heart to my awareness, the same thing that has happened every time I have had a whale encounter. Without my friend's help, I could have easily wasted by wanting more than was gifted. What gifts are we missing today by wanting more? What peace shall we experience if we truly believe that right now, this moment, God is for me, God loves me, and that everything is enough? And as God is for me, what gifts, what pleasures, what joy as Spirit lays before me now? And then he says, have a whale of a day.
And, you know, what he's saying is so important. We get caught up in, I want more. I want more. And I know that in my own life. As you know, my life made pass last year. And, yes, I had 45 incredible, passionate years, but I wanted more. And I turn around and I look in the world and I see how rare what I had was, how rare the communication I'm still having is. And I know how blessed I am. But there is that dichotomy of saying, I know that I'm blessed for what I have been given, even though that piece of me wants more. And it's not like I'm going to be angry with myself or punish myself for those feelings of like I didn't get enough, because I didn't get enough. But, you know, but I also recognize how much I got. And I think that is a real, if we can do that, if we can really get that, oh, my goodness, look at the gifts I've been given. I did a thing, a Be Your Own Valentine, on February the 14th at Ascension and Delight Foundation. And one of the things at the end, I did a little activation, and I put a basket of different stones, and I added shells and some other things in it, but I held it up above where people had to reach their hand up over their head into the basket to get something, so they weren't picking it with their eyes. And one woman picked a shell, and at the end, after I did the activation, she said, well, can I re-choose? I wanted a stone, and I just got a shell. And I said, no. That's what you chose, and that's what you need. I said, maybe the lesson here for you is to accept your gifts.
Exactly. And to, when you make a choice, make that choice the right choice. There is a study that was done a few years ago, and they gave people an opportunity to choose things of paintings or something, and they said, you know, well, if you don't like this one, you can choose another. And then in another group of people, they said, you know, you get to choose, and whatever the one you choose, that's the one you get to keep. And the people who only had one choice, you know, they only got one opportunity, they would choose something, and it took them longer to make the decision, but then they were happy with it. The ones who had the opportunity to choose again they chose quickly, but then they were, well, maybe I want that one, well, maybe I want that one, well, maybe I want that one, and they weren't happy with what they had, no matter how many times they got an opportunity to trade it in. And so the lesson from that being, you know, make a decision and then make that decision the right decision no matter what it is. And if we do that in our lives, then I think our lives are a lot easier. There was so many things that came up in what are you doing that's making a clanking noise? Because it's coming across on this, and I think it's going to be on the recording.
I'm not doing anything.
Huh.
It's got to be Mercury. Mercury is doing it. As you pointed out earlier, Mercury is doing it.
Okay. We'll let Mercury be doing it.
That's God for Mercury.
Part of what we were talking about in the lead-in to the show was, you know, there's a thing about the police killing a Down syndrome youth over a $9 ticket. The Pope's bailed out, and, you know, the stars are responsible for something, I'm sure. In this case, maybe the planets, Mercury.
But, it's funny because, the Pope may have bailed out, but he's living right there. He's still got his same secretary. He still is going to be called by the same title. He's getting all of the perks without any of the responsibilities. It's a pretty sweet deal. And, we did discuss about the young mid-20s, so I think it was 26, 27, Down syndrome young man who wanted to see the movie again and probably just didn't quite grasp he needed to buy another ticket. He paid for his ticket. He was there, and he wanted to sit through it another time. And you and I talked about this, about how there are other options. There are other options besides force. And that is something that we're needing to understand in our world today, that we have a multitude of choices. Just like you said, pick carefully, choose carefully, and in many instances, our choices have to include what is in the highest good for everybody that's involved. And how do we come to those group decisions without trying to force our way on somebody else?
This is true, and also, when is it okay to just let it go? Because the person who was working at that theater, they could have easily let go of the whole thing by just going, oh, he's a Down syndrome kid, he doesn't get it, never mind, let him sit through the movie, what's it going to hurt? He paid for it once, let him sit through it again.
I totally agree with that. It's just so easy to just, let it go. Don't make such a big deal out of it. I have to have my way, period, no matter what. No matter who is hurt, no matter what is wow. Yeah, it's just so unnecessary, and it creates a whole nother set of issues.
Exactly, and I wonder how much, I don't even have a theory for what is responsible for the hair trigger decision-making that we are currently experiencing and that we're seeing people experience. Because I even find it for myself. Something will happen, and my reaction, not my response, because response means the ability to respond responsibly. My reaction is, sort of a snap, and then it's like, you know what? Wait, stop, think, and then my response usually is different. But I'm noticing that people are, they're quick to jump and not so quick to walk away. There was a few weeks ago, there was a post that was running on Facebook about a man who struck a child on an airplane.
Right.
Because the child was making noise, and probably because its ears were hurting or whatever. And it's like, what was going through this guy's head that, he couldn't tolerate this child for, the 3 minutes that it takes for a plane to land or whatever. And on the other hand, what was going through the mom's head that, she already realized this guy was an idiot. She stood up in the back of the plane for most of the trip, to not ask the flight attendant, please move me because this guy is the jerk, before it got to the point where this guy is going to hit her or her kid. And it's like, how much thought can we put into removing ourselves from conflict rather than walking into it and going, but I'm right.
Well, I think you and I have discussed this before, and we have a different perspective on it because, A, it's not so easy to get a flight attendant to move you to another seat. B, it probably never even occurred to her that this guy, he might have been annoying, that he would actually become physically violent. I mean, there's a huge difference between being annoying and being violent. So there's my perspective of, blame game, not knowing the situation and everything myself is that you don't know what the circumstances were. I would have been shocked, too, to have been sitting there and have him do that. Yes, not wanting to be around it, but doubt it. that it ever occurred to her that he would become violent. So
I'm sure that didn't cross their mind before.
You know, if it's a full flight, the reason that she was standing up is probably because it was a full flight, and you can't get moved to another seat unless you start asking other passengers, will you trade seats with me, or, you know.
For people that don't know this, I've done this several times, so I'm going to put it out on the air so that people will know. If you are sitting in a seat that you are uncomfortable with, and you tell the flight attendant that you will get airsick unless you're moved, trust me, they will move you. They will put you in their jump seat. They will move you because they don't want to be cleaning up. And so they will move you. I've gotten moved a few times on a few flights. And I've seen other people do it. So that's just something that people can know for future reference. And
but it also depends on the flight attendants. But you know, whatever your point is, that when you see that there is going to be a difficulty, you can remove yourself from the situation rather than engaging in a confrontation. And that's a point well taken.
Exactly. And I think that is the difference between the apocalypse and the rapture. You know, for whatever those words may mean to different people in different religions and whatever, it's, you know, if you engage a situation that is looking like it's stacking up to be unpleasant, you may be headed for your own apocalypse. If you walk away, you can be in rapture. And it's just a matter of choice.
Well, I mean, we had an incident in the neighborhood where I live in Seattle where a woman had her dog evidently not on a leash. I'm not sure if he was on or off a leash. It jumped out on a couple of the high school girls, and the girl pushed the dog down, and the woman said, "Don't hit my dog," and got mad. And the girls were walking back to school, and the woman got in her car and ran them down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so, you know, avoiding confrontation, you know, just because you're right, just because you're angry does not mean that you should do that. I would think that the girls it would not occur to them that this crazy person was going to get in their car and run them over. You know, but they might have been smart mouth teenagers, you know, because that's what teenagers do. They, you know, their mouths run before their brains do.
And so,
as an adult, you take it in stride.
And so, because we're looking at ways to have a more enchanted experience, I personally, for myself, I'm taking it as my responsibility that if a situation is edgy, to not engage and to walk away, because I don't know what's going on in that other person's head. I can control what's going on in my head, but I have no clue what's going on in theirs. And in the past, we could say, well, guys, this person's not going to get in their car and go run somebody over, or this guy is not going to punch this kid. You know, now we don't know what's going on with people. We don't know if they're on prescription drugs. We don't know if, you know, they're on antidepressants and they're trying to get off of them. We don't know any of that. And some of the fail-safes that are built into our psyche have been turned off, mostly by things like prescription drugs and big pharma and the food that we eat and the fluoride that's in the water and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of the fail-safes that are built into our beingness as humans are not functioning the way they should. And so if yours are functioning, then walk away.
Well, and for me, I would try to diffuse the situation first. I would try to bring the energy level down a notch or two and try to come from a place of compassion with the other person first to say, you know, I understand how you feel. It's very frustrating to be in this situation, and I do get that. So sometimes you can diffuse the situation. If that isn't working, then I agree with you. Then walk away. I don't think that we should make any of our decisions based on fear. And sometimes people run away because they're afraid of what's going to happen. I think you come from a different place with that. You come from, okay, I did what I could to make it a better situation. That's not working, and God bless them and let them go. But, I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid of the person.
I'm not saying to do it because you're afraid, or suggesting anyone else do it because they're afraid. I think that walking away has been my MO for years. I remember the very first confrontation that I got in when I was in grade school. I think I was in second grade or something. And I have no idea what I did to annoy this little girl. But this little girl walked up and punched me. She just walked up and smacked me upside the head. And I just looked at her. I first of all, it didn't I couldn't figure out what was going on with her that she would hit me. And so I just looked at her and I thought, that hurt. And I just turned around and laughed,
Oh, yeah. Like, okay, you've kind of made your intentions clear here. I choose not to be a party to this.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so I could have hit her back, and we wouldn't have had a big fight, and it would have accomplished nothing, except that one of us would have been a big dog and the other one would have been hurt. And I thought, yes, the slap stung, didn't feel good, but, oh, well, whatever. I can go do other things.
And I totally agree with you. I think you have to read the situation that you're in and see what the parameters are in that particular situation. Because what works in situation A may not work in situation B. And I think that is listening to your intuition, feeling things, and, because here we are, we started at the beginning about talking about moving from thinking to feeling instead of like, okay, I have this plan already in my mind, and this is what I'll do. The circumstances may not work with that plan. Maybe you need to feel what the situation is, tune in to the other person or persons or situation, and then respond to that in a logical manner. So it's using both, your feelings, your intuition, and your intellect combined, not just checking off, this box, okay, situation here, this is what I should do. Well, see what the situation actually is and who it is you're dealing with.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And some of the tools that we can use to make sure that we're able to read our feelings and our perceptions clearly is to make sure that we're rested, to make sure that we're eating well, to make sure that that we know what's going on within our body and within our mind. Because if we're clear within ourselves and with our connection to spirit, then we can come from a place of stability no matter what's going on around us. But if we're off kilter, invariably, if I find myself snapping, it's because I'm tired or hungry.
Exactly. The blood sugar has dropped. I also found we had 2 wonderful days, Sunday and Monday, of sunshine. And yesterday I was like feeling, oh, God, I'm having to get up and turn the lights on, because it's dark, and the rain and blah, blah, blah. And I realized, I haven't been taking vitamin D like I was before. Oh, maybe I'll do that. So this morning I took a multivitamin and an E and a D, and electrolytes.
Absolutely.
And it's just like I'd forgotten to do that, and realized it did have an impact on me.
Yes. And the more we are aware and pay attention to what we're doing in our lives to take care of ourselves and how we're responding to things that are going on around us and putting those two connections together, the easier it is for us to respond in a way that is for the good of the whole. But if we are not paying attention to the connection, then when something goes awry, we're just like off off the hook and running, not realizing, oh, you know what, this doesn't have anything to do with them. My blood sugar is plummeting here.
Exactly, exactly. And it's hard when you're in that place to recognize that. I mean, I love these pharmaceutical commercials where it says, if you have feelings of suicide, blah, 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 well, if you're having feelings of suicide, you're probably gone too far to recognize what it is that's causing it.
Exactly. And so that takes us back to, you have to make a conscious decision to take care of yourself every day, as opposed to when you get in trouble. Because if you've already gotten in trouble, it's too late.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things that I advise, people that come to me, for intuitive counseling, is write down an affirmation that works for you and stick it on your mirror, or put it on the door as you're going out, or, on your refrigerator door, someplace that little message, you reminded yourself of.
Exactly. And there's so many tools and so many things that are out there, even on the net, for us to be able to use. But something as simple as sticking up notes around your environment and in the car, and, it's stuck in your purse in the change part or wherever, so that when you are going about your day, subconsciously you're reminded that I need to take care of myself.
Right.
And again, our 30 minutes has flown. We're down to less than 4 minutes. So I know you need to tell people about the Emerald Spiral event, and I need to tell them about stuff, so you go first.
All right, I'll be very, very, very quick. I'm just going to let people know that we have got some incredible speakers at the March 30th Emerald Spiral Expo in Kent, Washington. From 9 to 5. Our 10 o'clock speaker is going to do a whole demonstration on drumming, mink fire, just really fantastic. Whole thing on nutrition at 11. We're going to have Skip and Sharon talking about what it means to be a psychic at noon. Carol Barbeau is going to do an incredible presentation on 2013 at 1 o'clock. And we've got 3 more speakers. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time. Jaya,
is there a website that this is listed on?
It will be on the website within the next few days.
Okay.
On
so we'll send
emeraldspiral.com, the expo page.
Perfect. And that way they can go and peruse and decide which thing they want to attend, or I recommend attending the whole thing because it's only a one-day event, or is it a 2-day event now?
It's a one-day event, but we do have a snack bar so they can come and have food as well as listen to the speakers and go to the many, readers and healers and
so
people that are selling incredible stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And for you guys who are traveling to Hawaii, stop at Pele's Hokulele Gallery and Gifts in Keauhou Shopping Center. And we also have hula in the evening and all kinds of stuff like that. And if you want a gemstone consultation in person with me, you need to call me and make an appointment before you leave, after you've gotten your ticket, before you get to Hawaii. You don't walk in on the day that you're getting ready to leave Hawaii and want an appointment. My phone number is 520-360-1294. Or my email is aleighland@yahoo.com, ALEIGHLAND@yahoo.com. And this is Alaia, and
this is Susan, and you should get one of Alaia's talismans.
And I would like to remind you guys to always remember that we have a choice whether or not we are responding or reacting, and that we can choose the rapture and enchantment at any given moment in our life. Have a wonderful day. Aloha from the Big Island of Hawaii and Susan in Seattle.